Reactive is when you find out that you've got high blood pressure and you've got high blood sugar, you got high blood cholesterol. We've now got to do something about the disease that has developed. We need to learn to be proactive in our community and eat better and eat properly. And the key to that is knowing what proper eating and proper dieting is. Do not use sodium products as much as you're doing. Check the labels. Use fresh and frozen vegetables all the time. Canned goods may be cheaper, maybe, but they're not cheap in the long run because they will cost you in terms of disease processes that will cost you for a long, long time in life. We've got to learn to eat better in terms of sugar and so forth. They're developing diabetes at a rate that's unmeasurable, clearly, because the children in our community are developing diabetes, adult onset diabetes, while they're adolescents and still 10, 11, and 12 years of age. This also is from our behavior. It is what we are eating at the table. It is what we're eating at the store. It is the kinds of things that we're buying. We've got to improve on it, but we can only improve on it if we know what we're doing. We've got to realize that these foods, these prepared products and so forth are not that good for us. The judge here has learned, as of course it's late now because he's over 60 years of age, but he has finally come to realize that using these kinds of substances for a long, long time has caused him to develop heart disease and kidney disease. This is the reason why he's now a soldier on a mission. He doesn't want anybody else to have these problems. He has children and grandchildren. It is important for us to learn to be proactive and use preventative techniques and teach those to our families. It may be a little late for all of us because we're now 50, 60, 70 years of age, but it's not too late for us to teach the younger folks. This is a long-term problem with a long-term solution, and eating properly is the key to the decrease in these types of diseases. It is the common denominator to reducing morbidity and mortality from cardiovascular disease and cerebral vascular disease. The judge has learned to eat better. He doesn't shake any salt now.
Yeah, when I shake it off.
Shakes it off.
Like you shake a bad habit, get rid of it, shake it, and then shake it off.
Now we can use the salt substitutes that are usually potassium chloride, and we can also use the sea salts. These are not sodium products, and these are the kinds of things that we have to learn to use. This is not a very difficult thing. It is not rocket science. They talk about it on TV. You read about it in all the magazines. You hear about it on the news. The problem is putting it into practice. We've got to learn to be proactive so that we can prevent these diseases in the long run. The insurance business does not like to pay for hypertensive medications because they're costly. African Americans, as I mentioned, require 3 to 4 drugs on average to control their blood pressure. That's a very expensive thing, and for you as a copay, you may be paying $20 or $25 per medication every month. It's a very costly endeavor, and that's just for your high blood pressure. If you've got diabetes, you may need insulin, you may need 2 or 3 medications, you've got to buy strips to check your sugar. It's a very costly endeavor. If you have high cholesterol, now sometimes your cholesterol is either from you eating too much or producing too much. If you're producing too much, well then yes, you probably need medications to take care of that. But if you're eating too much, clearly you can change that behavior. You can reduce the kinds of fatty foods that you're eating that are high in cholesterol, which also leads to cardiovascular disease.